Hello, hi, it's Jess. I recently acquired the most beautiful Tudor-style dollhouse, and I am slowly but surely transforming it into the house of my dreams, just in miniature. The same way I would take on any restoration or interior design project, I am working on it bit by bit, room by room, and I'm excited to take you along for the journey. So I did say that I wanted to get the exterior finished before moving on to the interior, because I do still have to paint the roof. I need to sort the front door out, the window, some other bits. However, I had an idea and I got excited about it, so here we are. So today I am going to be making a start on the bedroom. So as you can see, I've already stripped it down to its bare wood. There were just layers and layers of paper and glue, and it was really lumpy and horrible, so I thought best just to strip it right down as you would in a normal house, and now I have a lovely blank canvas to work with. I mean, it's not perfect, but it took so long. So today I'm just going to be focusing on the walls and floors. I will be making tongue and groove style paneling to cover the bottom half of the walls, and then for the top half I will create a patterned wallpaper by hand. I will then attempt to create a floorboard effect. My plan is to do all of this using only mountboard, paper, pencils and paint. For the wallpaper and the floors and all of that, I'm going to be doing it all from hand, as in making it myself. Things like furniture, I don't mind buying it ready-made, but I feel like part of the fun of working on a doll's house, I always say doll's house, but I think it's actually doll house. Part of the fun of it is the process and creating things, and it would seem almost wasteful to not use my skills as an illustrator in this project. First things first, we need to go to Hobbycraft so I can pick up some supplies. So as soon as I got home, I applied a quick coat of acrylic to the walls and ceilings to prime it ready for the wallpaper. I wasn't trying to be neat or anything here. This is just giving the wallpaper something to stick to. Next, I moved on to the wallpaper itself. I had measured the room earlier, so I used those measurements to create individual wall panels. I made them a little bit bigger so it will leave some excess and wiggle room when it comes to pasting it to the walls. The paper I'm using is just an off-white sketching paper with a little bit of texture to it, nothing fancy. For the pattern itself, I could have put time into creating a perfectly measured repeat pattern, but I mostly just did it by eye. I used my favourite Faber-Castell pencil crayons. The yellow pencil is called Raw Umber, and the green is actually called Olive Green Yellowish, which is a terrible name in my opinion. But I love these colours. They're very warm, earthy, and what I would like to describe as hobbity. As I was working on the wallpaper, I realised that I should have actually started with the floor. The floor will of course raise the height, so it makes sense to do that before adding panelling and skirting boards. So for the floor, I had an idea which I really hope will work. I cut a piece of mountboard, or mat for any US viewers, to size. Ooh, like a glove. I then measured and penciled in the floorboards. And then I used a bone folder to score into the board, which created depth and hopefully the illusion of individual floorboards. I will later paint this and add detail to hopefully make it look authentic. So it is the next morning and I am excited to get back to work on this. In terms of progress, my wallpaper is ready. Here we are. It's so cute. I actually would like something very similar to this in my own bedroom when we come to decorating it. My only concern, I've been doing some research on the best way to stick it. And at first I was like, oh, just use Pritt Stick or double-sided sticky tape, but apparently that's not very sensible. So I'm actually going to use proper wallpaper paste, but I will apply it to the wall rather than the paper. And hopefully that will work. I just need to work out the ratio. But before I do that, I do want to finish the floor. So I'm going to paint it with acrylic. I don't usually use acrylic. When I do paint, I prefer watercolour, but I thought that might make it buckle a little bit and warp, and I don't want that. So I'm gonna go with acrylic, just see what happens. Then once I've got the floor in, got the wallpaper pasted on, then I will move on to the bit I'm most excited about, which is the tongue and groove paneling. I'll be making that in a similar way that I've done the floor, but I have bought a tiny farrow and ball, and the colour I've gone for is French grey. It's kind of, I would say it's like a sage, almost a sagey green, but verging more on the neutral side, which I thought would work quite nicely with this wallpaper. At least I hope it does, because I've not actually tested it yet. Yeah, very excited. But first things first, we need tea. I started by mixing the paint for the floor. I'll admit my paint mixing skills are somewhat rusty after working digitally for the last few years, but I eventually managed to achieve the light, warm, oaky colour that I was after. I then diluted the paint somewhat and created a base coat. I then worked over this in a slightly darker shade. I was kind of winging it here, essentially trying to create a weathered, rustic, natural wood finish. Once dry, I then went in and added wood grain detail using a pencil crayon. Before continuing, I checked the scale of the wallpaper against the panelling height just to make sure that everything looked okay. I then mixed up my wallpaper paste and applied the paper to the walls. This was a little bit fiddly, and I think I made the paste just a bit too thin, so I did end up adding some PVA to really make it stick. Looking good. I don't know what to do about this little alcove here. I think I should probably paper around, but I'm thinking eventually of building like a little window seat or even a bookcase. Bookcase. I might actually leave it for now. So good. Once the floor was in, I moved on to the wall paneling using the same technique that I used for the flooring. Okay, it's a couple of days later. The panels are ready to be well, I say they're ready to be fixed on. They're not ready to be fixed on. They're still drying because I've just done a second coat, but I'm really happy with the colour and I think it's going to look really lovely with the wallpaper. I had an idea. So obviously I don't have any furniture yet, but I don't feel satisfied just doing the floors and the walls. I'm going to attempt to make some tiny picture frames. So this is just something I just very roughly cut out of mount board and coloured in with a brown marker. I'm going to try and make a few different sizes, add some detail. I found a gold pen. I don't know how old it is and if it will work, but it'd be nice to have some gold frames. And then I'm either going to draw some tiny pictures, or I might size some paintings that I just found on Google, just some old paintings, or I might print them at Tesco because my printer doesn't work, but I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited, it's nearly there. I have decided to leave the alcove window area for now because I want to build a window seat with some little cushions on it at some point, and this is even more fun than I thought it would be. Like, I'm really enjoying it, and I was worried that I would get bored quite quickly or it would be too hard and I'd give up, but so far it's just the more I do, the more I want to do. So yeah, highly recommend. Anyway, I'm gonna leave these panels to dry and I'm going to get started making some tiny frames. So once again, I am using mount board. I find it quite a good material to work with for things like this. It's much sturdier than paper or card, but not as rigid as wood, so a little bit easier to cut. That being said, this did take me a while, so I decided to put the new Bridgerton series on in the background to entertain me. I'm a big Bridgerton fan and I am really enjoying this series. The second coat on the panelling had dried, so I glued on the skirting boards and got them fixed to the walls before finishing the frames. This part was super satisfying because it was finally starting to look like a proper room. Jack and I then went to Tesco's to print the tiny paintings which I had sized in Procreate, and then it was just a case of colouring in the frames. I used a combination of different markers and pencils and that very old gold pen which I managed to wrestle something out of it, just enough to cover a couple of frames. I didn't want it to be too matchy and I'm quite happy with how they turned out. Currently they are just held on with blue tack because I may want to move them around once I get hold of some furniture. And now I am excited to say it's time for the grand reveal. I love it so much. So much. It took a surprising amount of time and effort just to get it to this stage, but as I said earlier, I'm really enjoying the process. I will say, one thing that has occurred to me is that I have possibly made the panelling too high. Really should have bought at least one piece of furniture just to test the furniture against the scale, because I just kind of did it by eye. But if it is, it's not the end of the world, I can change it. It wouldn't be that much work. So yeah, next thing on my list is to actually buy some furniture for this room, which I'm really looking forward to. Doll's house furniture is actually surprisingly expensive. Like, I found a table lamp for a doll's house the other day and it was £20. You could buy an actual lamp for £20. I don't understand. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for coming along on this journey with me. And if you're new here, I'd love it so much if you could subscribe. I upload new videos every single week. I hope you're all having a lovely day, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you soon.